Time on your show, and I'm very happy to be amongst the people that you've had on, and hope I can be one of the better ones if it's all possible. You know, yeah, we're in a very interesting time now. People are seeing changes happening all over our planet, and modern technology and nanotechnology are really leading almost all of the things we do. People use microwave ovens.
Yes.
They use cell phones. They use, what do you want to call these things? Computers, monitors, scanners, printers, MP3 players, video game things again, fluorescent lights and this kind of thing. What they're not understanding, this is modern technology using electricity, but they have now, those who made these things, have electricity even going lower than what normally would have. They have what they call extra low frequency, ELF waves. ELF waves, and I have a tape called Elves Not Elves Are Killing You. They're worried about elves and groves and tremblings. But these things emit a wave that is very detrimental to the cells of the body, to the brain, the tympanic membrane, the optic thalamus nerve. All of these things can be very deadly. So because we saw that as a challenge, I began to research what can be done, since the people want these conveniences. They want television, they want plasma TVs, they want the computer, they want the monitor, but they're actually doing harm to their cells, and long enough, the cells can even mutate. They become free radicals. And this is where cancer starts. So I said, well, now, if we're going to use this, what is the solution? So we came up with a solution called diodes. And at the Meta Center, and I'm the director of the Meta Center in Chicago, which tries to find solutions to problems, because we don't think problems should exist. So if you have a solution, there is no problem.
Thank you.
People had those problems. I say, let's give solutions. And that's what the whole show tonight is going to be on, solutions. Diodes are solutions. And we have 12 different kind of diodes. We have a diode that can go on the back of a cell phone. And I brought my cell phone with my diode right there. That little dot that you see there is doing a wonderful, wonderful thing for your body. It's stopping the extra low frequencies and making the extra low frequencies very high. The body can take high frequencies. The detrimental things are things that get inside your cell and begin to go slowly and just tear up the whole cell membrane, if you would. So we use diodes. You can use a diode on the back of a cell phone. You can use the diode on the back of your computer, your monitor, your scanner, your modem, on the back of that television set. Now everybody's got to have a direct plasma TV. That's even worse than the other ones as far as radiation. So you put that right on the back where the wire comes out of the back of the chassis. If you're using a microwave oven, and I always say to give that to your best enemy. Oh, should have said that now. All the restaurants are going out of business. No, they're not, because if they will buy a diode that goes on the back of that, it changes that frequency. The harm is gone. You can still get the pleasure from the non-harm again. So we have diodes also, what we call a diode plaque. I meant to bring one, got off the airplane too quick and didn't bring it, so they're going to have to kind of listen to me or go on the website later. But the diode plaque is 8.5 by 11, looks like a kind of a chip on one side, again a platform, and on the back is 3 layers of the diode material. The thing is, if you put that on your kitchen counter, on a chopping block, or at the restaurant, anything you put within that, up to 18 inches above that surface, is going to pull radiation and poisons out of the thing. Now I want your audience to hear that. It's going to pull out radiation and poisons and toxins out of the food before you eat it, out of the canned goods, out of the cigarettes that have the nicotine, out of the coffee that has the caffeine. Some of those other little things that we don't talk about that nobody uses, but again, you put that on there too. It's going to pull the poisons out, and that's what I said. It will actually detoxify and take out radiation and poisons from it. We have a diode that can work, that you put yourself on. In driving cars in big rigs, whether or not you're a big rig driver or a cab driver, when you get in that car, you turn on the ignition, kicks in the alternator, and the wheels turn. When the wheels turn on a moving vehicle of metal, there is no ground. So all of that now is kicking back into the chassis. Government law says 45 miles per hour, the airbags kick in if you have an accident. All of that then is welded to the frame of the car. And guess what's sitting on that frame of the car? Your sex organ, your buttocks, the whole bit. So I say that because now people will listen when you say sex organ. If you now can sit on a diode pad, it's not going to harm that. Women are having all kind of candidiasis problems, and men are having all kind of testicular cancer. They're having all kind of prostate trouble. They don't tell them one of the reasons is you're sitting on radiation. When you drive that car, you pass by some of these towers in all the big cities. They got 252 major cities and things like this. All of them have these towers up. Those towers are not up there for nothing. You say, well, they're up there so I can use my cell phone. Sometimes. They're up there again so you can also work with the satellite and get pictures and feeds from all over the planet. Well, that means all that radiation is coming into you. In your car, if you turn on the radio, AM or FM, and you pass by a tower or another car, you hear it. You can hear the static. The static is you getting radiated. After 6 or 7 months, your whole car now is what they call a Faraday case. The metal is all toxic. It's all thing. So sit on that diode pad. Sit on that diode pad on the airplane. Sit on the diode pad in the car, and now you're protecting yourself. And then we have also what is called a diode mattress. That's for people who really get in deep trouble. If they think that you're having cancer or you're having cells that are not responding as they should, becoming free radicals, which means they're radical, they're attacking good cells in your body. If you can sleep, and this is what they call a diode mattress. It's 6.5 feet long, 2.5 feet wide. If you put your body within that circumference, it will also pull radiation and poisons out of the lymph system, out of the fat cells, out of the liver, all of these things. Now think about that. You have cells that are going bad. What can I do with it? Get on a diode mattress. Of course, you can change your diet. We'll talk about that another time, too. We get on a diode mattress. It will help you to pull that out. And if you use that in conjunction with a diet change, you can begin to do a lot to help your body to be rectified. So my whole point is, there's one other thing. We have a diode mid. A diode mid stands about 2 feet high, and I didn't bring that either because that's a thing, but we can ship it. So it stands about 2.5 feet high. Right. It protects around the circumference of your home 60 yards, even into the ground, even into the air. Now, what that attempts to do is to nullify some of the bad radiation coming from some of these microwave towers that are emitting everything. They've got some now that cost $2 million. So you're asking something that's very inexpensive to do something with a giant that is pretty horrible again, but it will begin to at least modify, especially the metal in your joist of your building or in a factory, anything. It begins to help you to modify that. So our whole problem is the towers, the radiation. The whole solution is, one of the solutions, using diodes. Instead of complaining, do something about it. Act, walk, and talk, as well as just start discussing it. Pretty much those things will pretty much help as I see it.
Well, I have some dowels I got from you, and I ordered, I have one for the TV. My computer, I don't have a cell, so I don't need one for the phone. And I ordered the plaque for the food, which is really great. But I just want to touch on one thing about genetic modification. Yeah. So could you elaborate on that?
Most definitely, and I'm so grateful that you were able to put up the prop for me there so your audience can also see. Genetic modification, or what they call genetically modified food, is food that has been transitioned by machines, or if we're eating meats, a lot of people eat the pork, they eat the beef, they eat everything else, they actually take those animals and modify them. Sometimes, I'm not going to name any brand names, so we'll just simply say it this way. Sometimes when you get a six-wing dinner, you think you're getting 3 chickens. You might get 1 with 6 wings on it. That's genetic modification. It actually takes the cell DNA, alters it, and then you eat it. Well, that's one thing when you eat it purposely again. But then again, to get it to that point, they have laboratories that are actually modifying people and everything else. That's when you're getting these witches, these horrible creatures in them that don't even care what they do. And I have some examples over there. I'm going to start with that one over there on the extreme, yes, that one.
Okay.
That one is an alligator man. You can see it was a human at one time. You can see it was an alligator or crocodile or something at another time. Now, somebody has modified that. They've put in a human DNA and a cross species of an alligator, crocodile, or reptile, fuse them together. Now, that's what you call mad science. We have the movies, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Well, these are things that are happening all around on our planet at certain areas where they're actually genetically modifying creatures and people too. So what you have, radiation down in the time may modify cell phones, TV sets, computers, monitors. But now you have radiation laboratories. It's not going to take that time. It's going to show you what can happen in lifetime, where they're now crossing species just because they're capable of doing it. This is what they call genetic modification. And I think it's horrible that these kind of practices go on, but people should understand that. Along the line, now that might take maybe 1,000, 2,000, a million years to do on its own, but they can do this in laboratories overnight. They call it cloning, they can call it whatever you want. So I'm just saying radiation can be very dangerous. Some radiation can be very helpful, like those that come from the sun and all like this, but it depends on how much you're getting and how much is genetically extra low frequency. The whole key is extra low frequency, ELF waves. These are the things that are most detrimental, and these are the things that if you're wise, you've tried to protect yourself from having this happen to you again. Okay. Now, what I also have in getting into genetic modification, we've been talking about modern technology and what it's doing. This is a picture, again, of a tribe over in Africa. Now, we understand that at one time in Lake Victoria, you had on one time Watusis. Watusis could grow sometimes to be 9 feet tall, 10 feet tall. On the other side, you had pygmies, these small creatures that, again, look as they might get 2 feet tall. But it's interesting, at one lake, Lake Victoria, on one side you have potential giants, on the other side you have potential giants. What do you have there? Mount Kilimanjaro. And the ancient legends there say that the gods came down from Mount Kilimanjaro and worked the people, that they created these things, that they dropped off things, and that whole lake itself was looked on as a very sacred lake. So I'm just simply saying, people say, I've never seen a giant. Well, here we have untouched pictures of one 12-foot tall and one 14-foot tall giant. This man here is 6'6". This is taken again in parts of Africa. I'm not going to say where, but it shows you that there are giants. Now, metaphysics, and I'm very much into metaphysics again, teaches that at one time that there were DNA modifications here. Unlike what we're doing again, they did this a long time ago. And they had, therefore, they formed cells to grow extra long, and they crossbred them, and so you had then different species being grown. These intents are very dark black giants. Now, most of the times I see giants, when I see metaphysical books, they show you giants from Lyra. That's one of the constellations that they say the giants were brought here. That gets into a lot of controversy. But I'll say, without even going there, you have black giants right there in parts of Africa. We don't understand how much has already been done on this planet. And when you begin to then use devices that you don't understand, using radiation that they think is very easy, it's real cool to put a Bluetooth in your ear, but if that Bluetooth is going to cause trouble with the temporic membrane or the optic thalamus nerve, you got a big problem. So if you have something that you can put on that Bluetooth, if you have something that can block the radiation, you're halfway home. So this is why I say, we look for solutions. We look like problem savers. We want people to understand that if you understand what radiation can do, you will seek out ways to stop the radiation. When we're looking at this same kind of thing, talking about modern technology, modern technology has also gone to the extremes by producing what they would now call holograms. Now, when you look at this, you're in the audience there, and you listen to Rose, and you know she brings weird people like me, but we're going to show you weirder people that are doing weirder things potentially to your brain. That there is not a real picture, but it is one that is in the sky. You can see the houses beneath it there, so you know it's not a joke. They are now using devices to take molecular structures of smoke and other organisms, form a picture out of them, and make you think you're seeing it. Now think about what that potential can be. That means that you can make a picture in the heavens using clouds that is not there, but if people are very spiritual, if people are very religious, if people are very superstitious, you can make them think that something is happening that is from the heavens, that God is doing this. That God is a scientist sitting somewhere controlling towers and things to make you see that. Think about what that potential can be. You know what I'm saying to them? You get the message I'm trying to see. Everything you see may not be real.
Thank you.
And if you're going to worship or alter yourself because of what you see, you might be starting a war, you might be starting a battle, you might be frightened for nothing, but people, scientists, I don't call them mad because they're very smart and very diabolical, confusing you as to what may be done. Modern technology and technology in general can always be used for either good or for bad. If you have an awareness that this can be done, then you won't be so gullible. We won't be like the kids that they tell you to raise. Now I'm saying this again because many children are called kids. Kids are to the goat god Baphomet. They are sacrifices. You don't have kids if you're human. You may have them if you're mankind. We can get into that another show. But if you're human, you have children. You treat them like kids because they treat them like baby goats and animals. They're not. But if you treat a child as a kid, raise a child as a kid, eat what kids eat, think what kids think, then you got no longer a child that you can control. You've got a kid.